Sorry.
Welcome, everyone. Today, we have a very special guest, Chris Holden. I'm going to jump off. He has limited time offer with us today, so I got to go.
All right, I'm Jamal Smith, another co-host. I'm going to turn it over to Tony, and welcome, Chris. Look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Thank you, Jamal.
Thank you, Brian and Jamal. Good morning, everyone. So yes, you heard that my fellow co-host hopped off really quickly, and that is because we initially had Chris for an hour. We booked him for an hour, but as anyone knows, business, craziness, everything that's going on today, and being the CEO of LA Fire Justice, this morning we found out he would be with us for 30 minutes. So we are going to condense this interview or conversation with Chris this morning, and I know it will be jam-packed with a lot of amazing information. So I am introducing Chris Holden, LA Fire Justice CEO. Please tell a little bit about yourself. I know you've been active in our community. You were the mayor of Pasadena, all of that, but tell us what you want us to know about you, and then a little bit about LA Fire Justice.
Well, thank you, Tony. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation. You know, this is really a really tough time for all of us, especially all of us who've lived in the Pasadena, Altadena community for a good part of our lives, as I have, and I know that you have, and others who are a part of your podcast audience. Look, I grew up in Pasadena. I went to the public schools, and by going to the public schools, that included a lot of folks that live in Altadena. So over the years, I've developed a lot of friendships, teammates from sports events and that I played on in high school. We all competed against each other, so there's a kinship. And then, you know, worshiping and having your church home in the Altadena community. So there's all these different elements that bring us together. And, you know, so we call Pasadena and Altadena home. And so this is a very devastating period that we're going through. But I think over the years, having had an opportunity to represent the community of Pasadena on the city council for nearly 24 years as a council member and mayor, and then to serve in the California state legislature for 12 years, where I had the honor of representing Altadena and many communities in the San Gabriel Valley. Raised my family in Pasadena, Altadena. So we have deep roots that go back a long ways. And so the fire that broke out on January 7th was a tragic impact, not only for those who were in the community and in the way of that fire, but those of us who weren't, but yet were impacted either by smoke or other things that were making its way to our neighborhoods. But just the sense of loss. I had a number of folks call us and say, hey, look, we got to evacuate. Can we come stay at the house? And so we were in that space of also making room for family. But that's what this is about. You know, this rebuild, going through this together and rebuilding together is about family and joining in. And all the years that I've been in the legislature and the roles that I've had as the chair of utility and energy, designing the legislation that creates the Victims Fund that can be in a good place of helping Altadena recover going forward. So God's got me in the right place at the right time.
That's right. And that is what is so important, is that we are walking in our purpose for this season, and that we are standing, sitting, walking, whatever, at the right place at the right time. So thank you for that, Chris. Really. Oh, I have a question though. What high school did you go to?
Pasadena High School.
Oh, that's the wrong answer, Chris.
Oh,
that is the wrong answer, because the three of us, Jamal, Brian, and I, and Pamela, who works for you, are all Mustangs. So you are our rival. You are a Bulldog.
You know, but yeah, well, yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, I think that back in the day, you know, that obviously we took all of the sporting activities very seriously. So you either were feeling good walking off the field with the bell, having won the turkey tussle, or not. But I didn't play football. I played basketball.
Oh, and you guys always won that hands down. That belongs to HS. Always has, always will.
That was my sport.
Yeah. No, you know, back in the day, we took down some big teams. You know, we were in 1977 was our first CIF championship and state championship and we beat Long Beach Poly. Was a
Oh, wow.
and Tony Gwynn, if baseball fans out there, he
Yeah.
was the point guard on that team. And then
Oh,
the next
wow.
year, Bourbon Day, which was the #1 high school in the country, we beat them in the final. So we had let's put it this way, whether it was Muir and track and field and football,
Yep.
or PHS, we were representing Dena all around the region.
Yeah, I saw Michael Cooper about 2 years ago at LAX. We were both traveling to New Orleans, and before we got on, there was a seat next to him. I was already sitting, but I went and I sat next to him and I said, you already know it's Stang's house. And all he did was crack up laughing. And so on the plane, I was seated in first class, but about 2 seats behind him. And when we got ready to get off, he saw me. He said, if I knew you were up here with me, I would have switched seats with somebody and sat next to you, because I would have been letting you have it the whole time. So of course he didn't know me from Adam when we first, were at LAX, but I went to him and said that, and he just cracked up laughing, because we understand what that means, right? If
Absolutely. But and it's a family, right?
Family.
Even if you went to Blair, my wife graduated from Blair, so.
Oh yeah, or Marshall. We can't leave them out.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we are a big family, so I'm super happy to have you here. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about LA Fire Justice, what it means, why you put this group together, and the goodness that you are doing in and for the Dena. We'll just call it Dena, because Altadena Pasadenians, that's what we say, right? For our community in Dena.
Yeah. Well, look, as I termed out of my 12 years in the assembly back in November last year, I was contemplating what my next would be. But I will say I didn't know that I didn't envision it being what it's turned out, in terms of being in a position to help lead a consortium of lawyers to defend and protect the people of Altadena who lost their homes by no fault of their own. It wasn't a lightning strike. It wasn't people under Tower 3 striking matches. It was a utility that failed to do what it was supposed to do. And
51 years ago, right?
Yeah, I mean, look.
Uh-oh. You're frozen for a second. I know you'll come right back. So anybody watching, this is normal. Okay, go ahead. I said 51 years ago, right? That they should have taken the tower down.
They should have taken the tower down. But even if they didn't take it down, if they had just grounded it, it wasn't grounded. So when the power from the 2 active towers went into it, it just caused it to be destabilized, sparks flying, and then to have dry grass underneath the tower. So
and not shut the power off that morning like they claimed they were going to do.
Absolutely.
Because there was still power up at our house, at my parents' house on Wapello and Mount Curve at 9 o'clock at night, that night. And their house was on, that they've been in 57 years, at like 2:30 the next morning on the 8th, before it swept across Lake, because they're on the east side. My sister lived right there in Eaton Canyon, and the townhouses and stuff where she lived, that complex is gone. And she saw it and literally got outside and was like, hey, to the neighbors, we got to go. There's fire across the street. We got to go. And the winds, were crazy by 6:30 when it started. So she went, got my parents, and left. And she said the Lord told her that morning, pack a bag. And so she called and told my mother that, and got them. And then they were at my nephew's in Old Town, and all that. And we did the same. People stayed here, people stayed, wherever. Right. But yeah, no fault of their own at all.
No fault of their own. So joining with the lead attorney, Michael Watts, and Douglas Boxer, who, as we all I think we're getting to know, that is the son of Senator Barbara Boxer. It was a team that was showing me that they had the experience, having fought the utilities and represented the victims of the Lahaina fire in Maui, countless fires in the Northern California area, represented over 25,000 fire victims, and even more than all of that, that they were prepared to be here for the long haul, not just dealing with the lawsuit, but also making sure that we had a presence in the community by having an office here on Walnut at 221 East Walnut. That will be here for 5 years. We just added more space so we can bring on more staff to be able to work with folks in terms of identifying what their claim value is, because that's
Okay.
also going to be the real key.
Yeah.
Programs out there that are going to be looking to address the needs beyond the wildfire, whether it's providing information on insurance by having an insurance professional, making sure that we're meeting the needs of the community, whether they're our clients or not, but preferably it's an example of what we do for our clients by having mental health Mondays, because we know that people are dealing with the trauma. So seeing the holistic approach and being in place for 5 years with clearly not going anywhere and wanting to be part of the rebuild, that checked all the boxes in terms of the values that I carry, because it was all about service and representation.
And that's what you've been about your career for our community. So I was very thankful when I saw that you were the CEO leading this, because you have the connections with legislator, you have, connections within cities and like our San Gabriel Valley area, right? And that's so very important, because what we have seen, and I don't like, and I talked to you about this prior to us going live, is all the outsiders that see dollar signs that aren't from California, that want to just come make a dollar. And an example I could give you is I held a town hall back in March at Victory Bible Church, at my church.
Yes.
And I had builders there. It was on March 8th. And people got a lot of great information, because I wanted them to understand what the process going forward looked like, to have it early, so that if they hadn't started thinking at 2 months out, they would begin to, because I don't want people waiting 2 years when potentially you could be back in your house in 2 years if you have your insurance and things like that. Also, so I had people show up. One guy from Mississippi that had like some big contractor's patch on his jacket. I'm here to make some money. And I was like, I'm sorry, you're not speaking today. Right. And because he wanted a platform. And I said, and this is not the place for you to solicit clients. Right. And first of all, I don't even know if you're licensed in California. You're from Mississippi, you're licensed down there as a contractor. But he saw the dollar signs of potentially rebuilding 6,200 homes. So, let me go to this. And I didn't let him speak, and I didn't let him solicit anyone. So instead, he went outside out front, and people told me he was bashing me or whatever on the curb. And then they left. And I'm like, okay, but I'm from here. And I want to protect my community as we rebuild, as we recover, as we go through the mental health process, as we go through everything, and bring vetted people in that care about our community and that want to make sure that we recover and we rebuild properly, and not just come in and gouge us. So I was glad that I saw you leading this, because you are and have represented our community for so long. And I don't think you're going to let people come in and do that either.
No, the other part of my job is to hold the lawyers accountable. We're going to do this the right way, and we're going to make sure that the community is represented. And look, we've got folks that are part of our team who are graduates of John Muir. I think there's only maybe me that's a PHS grad. It's all good. So it's like so just know that we have some Mustangs that are part of our operation. And it's growing every day, because these are folks who know the community, who have their own relationships, and who are going to be working up the claims with a lot of the people who have been victims. But let me just say this too, the other thing that inspired me about this particular group is they didn't even advertise in the first 30 days. They took their time, energy, and resources and went out to try to figure out, how did this fire start? And by being able to put together the video information that we've seen, the mapping of the canyon, the arcing of the power at the tower as the power was being moved through that particular place where it showed molten metal down onto the dry grass, that was fire justice. So that information went out. Had they not spent the money they spent to do their own investigation, to show visibly that it was the utility, Edison today would still saying it wasn't them.
Correct.
And to figure it out and wait for CAL FIRE or LA County Fire to do the official investigation, and 18 months later come back and tell us something that we probably wouldn't want to hear anyway, because all the evidence has been lost in that period of time. So their due diligence, I thought, was really impressive to me. Their care for the community by not putting out a lot of those ads in those early weeks were very offensive. But I'm very proud of the fact that they're conducting themselves with integrity through this process, and they're putting out information that's factual and that is informing the community. And that's part of what this is going to be about, because we've never been this way before, and folks have to some important decisions to be made.
Yeah. So one of the things that we spoke about earlier too, before we came on, and I really wanted you to hit it because I know we're at 10:15. We have about 15 minutes, and I do want you to also talk about the block party on Saturday. But one of the things is, and I told you, I've been in after the fire meetings. I'm going up to the summit the 8th through the 11th of next month up in Sonoma. And as a community leader, you know, here on the podcast and everything that we're doing, I heard, and I had Jennifer, the CEO of Jennifer Gray Thompson, CEO of After the Fire, on last week. And I asked her point blank, because I believe it is important for our audience to hear it. And I need your thoughts on this. Claim versus litigation. Now, we know that they have said, oh, we're going to set up this fund, you know, whatever people can submit claims. Now we know, yes, Edison. Now we know that generally if it's even if they ever admit fault or, oh, you know, we won't take full blame, we still want to hold them accountable. And so if I'm 98 years old or 92 or 85 years old and my house is now gone, I've heard that if I submit a claim and they gave me what the fair market value of my house was prior to the fire, maybe I should take that because I want to rebuild my home and live in it in my latter days. And I've heard that litigation could take up to 6 years, and I might not be here if I'm 98. Prayerfully, people still are around, but I might not be here. So what are your thoughts on that, Chris? I know there's pros and cons to both, but with what LA Fire Justice is doing, not saying give advice to anyone because everyone's situation will be different, but you will have people that are able to help people in this area. So what are your thoughts on that? And what do you suggest that people do? I would suggest they contact you all, maybe come and listen and sit and find out. But we know that Edison is going to have many ads coming out because they've already published that they're going to do this fund. But when all the nitty gritty gets finished, the legalities of the fund, and it's now time for people to submit claims, what are your thoughts on claims versus litigation for this?
Well, look, first of all, the fact that Edison's even talking about this, they won't admit it, but they know that they're guilty.
Exactly.
Right? They wouldn't even be talking about, well, sit down and let us figure out how we can give you some of our money to make you whole, if they never believed that they started the fires in the first place.
Correct.
And the only reason that they know that is because the evidence has been put out there so clearly and starkly that even the judge in the case knows. I mean, everybody's seen the videos, and that is, as I've said, a very much important part that LA Fire Justice was able to do on the early end that benefits everyone, including the other lawyers who are grabbing a hold of that information as well. They should, because it's about letting people know that what Edison is doing now is not new. Creating these compensation or victims funds are not new for them, because PG&E has done it, San Diego Gas and Electric has done it, and this is not the first time that now Edison has done it. But what it's doing is it's really trying to capture people at a place where they are they're hurting, they're desperate. You know, they're now 6 months in, 7 months in. They may have a forbearance that's now coming due, and they've got real money that they've got to now start coming out of their pocket for. They've already been shortchanged for those who sold their property for half of the price of what it was valued at. And so now you have Edison wanting them to settle for pennies on the dollar. Litigation, Edison does not want a trial. Edison does not want you sitting on the jury box, nor me or anybody that you know, because they know that they're guilty. And so they're going to try now to drive down their overall exposure, right? So that they can preserve a good argument back to their shareholders that, look, we're going to be okay. We're going to offer this program instead of $100, you know, we're going to give $20 or $30, and that's how we're going to save 70, right? But the litigation is going to go forward, because at the end of the day, we have what we need to have. The leverage is on our side to force Edison to then yield and understand that they got to make these members of the community who they burned down their homes responsible for getting them as close to whole as possible. And that's what the litigation part will entail.
So if, let's say, I'm going to use me as a scenario. I always do this, right? So let's say my house that I've been in for, I'll say 50 years, right? Or 40 years, burned down. And I talk to Edison. I submit my claim. And they say, okay, your fair market value was 1.8 million where your house was, right? We're going to give you that. Plus, we're going to give you another for landscape, for interior, yada, yada, yada. And even for the mental anguish, the trauma. We're going to go on and give you $3 million. But an attorney says, if they're willing to offer you $3 million, then I know for a fact I can get you more than that, right? Because that's the low end of this trauma is never going to go away. You're going to have PTSD when it's windy. If a fire starts somewhere, you're going to freak out. And so they're still lowballing you. Yeah, they're going to give you, quote unquote, the fair market value. But when you rebuild your house, it's not going to be worth the 1.8 that it was. It's going to be worth 2.5, right? Plus, everything that you have to buy, furniture-wise, is going to cost more. Plus, your insurance is going to go up if your carrier doesn't drop you. So really, you are entitled to probably double that. That would be a situation that LA Fire Justice would then be able to say to somebody, look, we know it's going to be this, we'll work with you to get this done. And if I did submit a claim, I could reject that claim because I haven't signed anything for it, and then go with your firm or whatever to make sure that I'm, as you said, as whole as possible. Right.
Well, so to your point, Edison would love for this to just be a class action approach, right? So they can come up with one number, take it or leave it, and that would be the case. But this is a tort action. So each individual person is going to have a different value assessed to what they lost, because everyone's not the same in terms of what they lost. I mean, you may have a classic automobile that was worth a Corvette 1967 that burned to nothing, and that has the value of maybe $150,000. So you look at what all of the other impacts, and rest assured, Edison's doing this because they do not want to pay emotional distress. And that is where a major part of what your claim is going to be, because people, some of our clients have given us videos that they were running, not at the earlier part where the fire hadn't reached their home and they were told they had to evacuate and maybe they can come back tomorrow. But they were evacuating while their house was on fire. They had to flee, and they are traumatized as we speak. And those are the types of things that Edison can't ignore, but they're going to want to ignore. And that has value, and that's what builds the case.
Yeah, that's so important because, and I've said this a million times, my daughter, whose address is there, who still was at my parents, she was living with them a couple of years, my nephew and my brother, who is a fire chief for CAL FIRE, were at my parents' house. My brother was there until 2:30 in the morning. He had, my nephew left at, I think 2, my daughter left at 1:30, trying to get everything they could out of the house that was of value, right? They were watching everything around them burn down.
Right.
And even though my brother is a fire chief and has worked many fires in this state, he was tired. He sat on my parents' couch to rest. He said there had to be 100-mile-an-hour gust of wind at 2:30 that woke him up. Had that wind not happened, that gust, he would have perished in the fire because he had fallen asleep. He said he went outside to the back, and they had done all the watering down, everything. And he said the flames were coming like a monster from Concha to Wapello. And he had run down the front steps. I think he twisted his ankle, but it was black smoke. The videos that I have from that night from my daughter are unbelievable. And my brother, it's very emotional still. My brother couldn't go up there for months. I know he went up there the other day, but it's tough, right? And the place that we just had Thanksgiving at, and 2 months later, less than 2 months later, it was gone. My school, right? Elliott, Loma Alta. I went there for, my park where I walked and played and did summer at Farnsworth. Everything is gone. So to grow up in a house you come home from the hospital in, and 57 years later or whatever, it's gone. And everything, shame on Edison or anyone for not wanting to pay for the emotional damages and the trauma, let alone everything that you lost, things that my parents had traveled the world and brought back that they can never get back, right? At 88 and 82. But I've seen my father deteriorate since January, and that's traumatic for us, right? So though I didn't lose my house, everything else is gone. For my brother, everything is gone. For my daughter, losing things and fleeing a house that, she had lived in the last few years. It's just tough. So for anybody, Edison or anyone, to not want to try to make people whole, including that, shame on them. And that's why it's understandable that people need to go to attorneys and fight for what they can get to help them be whole again, or as whole as can be. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I feel so bad for you, Tony. I know that and that's the thing, is that we're feeling the pain from the people we know and love, even though we maybe didn't actually go through it ourselves. But that is a transference of pain that we can sometimes carry on us as well. But let me say that this is going to be a battle between shareholders and victims. Okay, Edison is standing with the shareholders, and whatever they say and whatever they do is to protect the shareholders. Whatever we say, whatever we do is to protect the victims and to make sure they come out whole. But I'll also say this too, because we haven't seen the details, and that's part of the problem. They wrote out a concept, but they haven't said, and here's how it works, because they're still trying to leverage the legislature to give them more so that they can have a bigger cushion and a safer net under them without really having regard towards the ratepayers, the victims. So, but some people, and there will be some who will say, I know, but I'm tired. And that's also what is so criminal, because there's no reason that they have to be even up against that kind of a decision in the first place. Right. They should not even be in that situation to even have to think about what I may have to settle for and get less because I'm just tired and I don't want to go through this any longer. Although I will say this, and we'll probably hear today or within days, that the court will probably look, and we're very hopeful, we'll set a trial date. Once they set a trial date, the clock is ticking on Edison. Good. Right? They don't have so this is all of these different things that we're starting to see based on the experience of the folks who are at LA Fire Justice is telling us that we're moving faster in this process than in any other stage at any other fire. And that's with everything.
That's with the lot clearing that the Army Corps did. That's with the rebuild. That's with the testing of soil. That's with now the permits finally, right? But
just remember that they did not test the soil.
No, individuals are. Yeah.
Yeah. So they moved fast because normally what they would have been doing is removing debris and then testing, and then moving more debris until they tested at a level that was safe to live on. And that's what they didn't do. So the federal government has basically kicked the can down the road, saying we're not going to do it like we used to. The state is now in a position where they have to decide how they're going to do it and if they can do it. And someone needs to, because if you don't test that soil, then people are moving on to that dirty soil with contaminants that can impact them, because it's in the grass.
Right.
It's in the dirt. So we're working. We had a town hall last week to talk about soil contaminations, and experts from USC and UCLA, and Aaron Brockovich, who's a part of this, who's a chief spokesperson in this space. So I think that the information like that we can get out to inform folks to make good decisions. We can't control what those decisions ultimately are, but we want them to understand, here are your choices, and make them as clear as we possibly can.
And another thing, and I know it's like 10:29, so give me about 2 or 3 minutes, because I do want to speak to your flyer. But I know that there are builders out there. We've had several on that they are testing the soil for their people and have said, if when we do the lot clearing, when we get ready to grade, if we got to remove all that soil and bring in new soil, that's what we have to do, because we have to replace, compact it so that in a few years, when we get earthquakes, because we do, you don't have a crack in your foundation or your walls. And more importantly, those toxins we don't want to build on top of, because when you potentially could have cancers or who knows what later, right? Hair falling out and everything else, that would be because soil that was toxic was left there. And the builders that we've talked to, about 3 or 4 of them recently, 4 or 5 maybe, BZ Build Co., I think Level 42 said it, Kendra Mays Designs, Triplet Construction, and another one. We're like, no, we're going to pull the soil out. We're going to test. Make sure that it is tested. That is part of our service. And then if we got to pull out soil and bring back soil, we will. So that to me is huge, because if not, and you're just going to go and start rebuilding on top of what was there, you're putting your entire life, your family, everybody else at risk, whether you're an owner or you're going to rent a property or whatever. And we just can't have that. As far as LA Fire Justice goes, not yet, Jamal. Is there any last thing you want to say? Can you take that down? Thank you. Because we are going to speak to your flyer about the block party in a moment. But as far, I know that you have an event tonight, and that will be part of our announcements in a few minutes when you leave. But talk a little bit about the event tonight, and then any parting words about that, because I know you have another engagement you have to go to.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. So tonight's is a workshop on rebuilding 101. Okay. So it's kind of going through some of the things that you talked about, but just things that folks need to know in terms of what the process looks like, permitting, what they need to do in terms of selection of a contractor and architect and things along those lines. So it's been very helpful to have people start to lock in, and they're starting to make movement. You know, they're starting to get past the initial trauma and starting to make some important decisions.
Yeah,
so
we're
that's
seeing it as well. And what time is that?
That's at 6 o'clock here at our office, 221 East Walnut.
East Walnut. Okay, great.
Suite 100.
And then the last thing I did want you to talk about, and you see the banner, it says Chris Holden's 26th annual block party from 3 to 7 p.m. Jamal, could you bring that back up now, the flyer, please? Thank you. Yes. It is Saturday, and this is on Jackson and Madison, or Jackson and where?
Yeah. Well, it's between El Molino. It's the 500 block of Jackson, between El Molino and Los Robles, north of and south of Washington. I've been hosting it and I think I've lost track, quite frankly. Let's just say it's approximately 26 years. We think it might be a little bit more, but at the end of the day, because it is to create an opportunity for the community to come together. And I am bringing it back this year because I think we wanted to give a special focus to the small business owners from Altadena who lost so much. Some where their buildings actually burned down, others where buildings around them burned down, and their building is still, the restaurant's still there, but they have no customer base. So we wanted to create an opportunity. So we're going to do Altadena Farmers Market, and so everything you would expect to have at a farmer's market, from fruits and vegetables to candles and body wax and
everything that people have.
Everything, and then we'll also have a wellness zone, so that we have UCLA and some other folks will have a yoga studio that their studio burned down, that they can their stretching techniques and things of that nature, activities for the kids, and as always, entertainment, live bands that will perform, taiko drummers, mariachis, and R&B. So it'll be fun. And then El Patron, Mexican restaurant, and some other restaurants in the area, food trucks that are from the Altadena community and businesses and restaurants. They'll form our food court. So classic cars, and we'll also have the Teamsters to bring in classic cars and classic motorcycles. So
wow, how wonderful. It's going to be amazing. So 3 to 7 on Jackson between Los Robles and El Molino. Everybody come out. I know that Jamal may not be able to be there depending on what his daughters are doing. They play volleyball and he has tournaments. Brian for sure will be there. I will stop by. I think it's going to be amazing.
quick question about the flyer. You do have a QR code. Is that you want people to register, or is that just for information?
No. Yeah, that's just for additional information if you want to
Okay.
know what other workshops we have coming up, that type of thing. But
Cool.
it's just show up and have a good time. And I think it's going to be, and we'll also for the first time have an influencer zone. So we'll have casting if you want to do something like bloggers. Blair Imani, she'll be there.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be doing interviews. We'll get opportunity to visit with some of the folks who are clients. Some who will soon hopefully be. But at the end of the day, it's just our opportunity to also love on our community and let them know.
Well, Altadena Talks will definitely be there, and we will also be live, or we'll record and do some interviews with people. That's normally what Brian does every weekend. And here is Fro Bro, and you're on mute, I think. Hopefully, when you're off mute,
We'll be live.
We'll be live, exactly. So, Chris, thank you for your time this morning. I know we're over by 5 minutes, and you have something else you have to go to, but I am so appreciative that you came on. We will, in our announcements, we will show not only the flyer again for Saturday, but we will show the flyer for tonight. And so we will read that again and reiterate that people can go to that. And there's several events, so we read those off always. So thank you. Look forward to partnering with you on some things in the future between Altadena and LA Fire Justice, and having you back on to give updates at some point as well.
Happy to do that. Thank you, Tony.
Thanks, Chris. All right. Have a wonderful day. Appreciate you.
God bless.
You too. God bless. So Brian and Jamal, if you can remove Chris, perfect. And you guys come on back in this here with me. And we will put up the comments. I saw a couple from Barbara Bacchus and
let's start from the top. We're gonna know so man, good morning all, and welcome. Chris, Pam joined the show as we expected. She was right there. Krishna, glad to see you jump on. Mark Avery decided to come see his homeboy Chris come through. We had Erica Anderson showed up. She was watching on Facebook. Kenneth Stewart was watching on Facebook as well. And then
I have to text Mark and tell him thanks for joining right now.
Stogie came on from Altadena Talks on IG. And Red Cup, as usual, is always a regular. Thank you very much for supporting. And we got Diana 2490 joined on Altadena Talks, as well as Stogie said SCE is feeling the spotlight. My mom said Altadena Talks is serving as a witness to other cities to start giving care to their neighbors before a tragic event happens, being prepared ahead of time for strategic emergencies. See, now you know where I get all this, how I talk now.
That's you read it how you talk, but thank you, Miss Bacchus. Appreciate that.
You would have read it the same way, trust me.
And no, Marcus, I actually just had a nightmare last night regarding the fire. Yeah, it's 7 months in about a week, almost 2 weeks. And it is, you get emotional, like we've talked about. Sometimes we're perfectly fine. We can joke, we can talk about it. Other times we cry. Like you guys saw me get emotional talking about my brother, my niece. See, it's happening again. My niece, my daughter, all that stuff.
It's not something that's going to go away like tomorrow, next month, next year. It's like every time. I mean, I well up a lot of times. I was talking to a dude at lunch yesterday talking about, why this nonprofit got formed and and then I just started tearing. He was like, "You all right?" I said, "Man, dude, this whole thing is therapy for me. It's got to come out. It's got to keep coming out until it's over with. And it's not going to be over with."
You're just going to be able to deal with it better as time goes on. It never goes away.
To cope. Yeah, exactly. So super glad again that Chris came on. I look forward to bringing him back on, in a couple months or whenever for more updates.
That was a smooth conversation. It was really nice with him on. I mean, not that others didn't talk well, but it was a very comfortable conversation. Obviously, he's well spoken and knows what he's talking about. But it was really nice.
And,
you know,
and the Dina rivalry shot, I love that. But he
that was
came back
lovely.
on.
I had to
We
come
used
back
to
because I
put
didn't
up.
know he went to HS. But that's why I asked him. I was like, "So which high school did you go to?" He talking about PHS. I was like, "Wrong answer.
Yeah, but
Wrong answer, Chris.
he was
Wrong."
with
When he
the
came
ballers
back
back
on, you went,
then.
oh, we did take the CIF.
Okay, see,
We did
I
beat
He was
Tony
with the
Gwynn. We
ballers.
did do this.
I'll Long Beach
But
Poly.
that's what our town is about. You might have kicked me while I'm down, but I got you 4 years ago.
Well, and the thing about it, like we always talk about, we're family. It's Altadena up above, Pasadena a little bit lower, but we're Dena. And no matter where we go, we are all together and we're going to ride for each other. That's for sure. Because if you're an outsider, we're going to be looking at you cross-eyed to make sure that you're doing right by us. And like he said, Muir in football and track and us, HS, in basketball. That's
and it's still like that.
And HS used
Except
to
for
have
those few years, in my, 86, that's when we took CIF. We were killing it.
Overall,
overall, they definitely are basketball.
In track and football.
No, y'all was 85 and 86.
It's been HS in baseball and basketball, but in the last maybe 10 or so years, Muir has been the baseball dominator. And so it's a really good, huh?
He hasn't been there for a couple years.
Oh, really? Left?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a great conversation. I always tell people before we come on, this is not a structured, formatted show. We go with the flow, and I try to make it a very easy conversation and for us to just talk, right? And as I hear things, I'll ask other questions or whatever, and that's what we do here. So, but we want to bring accountability and accuracy always.
Show us the Epstein tapes.
You're so stupid. Anywho, so we are now going to segue to our announcements, which two of them will have to do with LA Fire Justice. We could take that banner down that says Chris Holden since he's gone. But Jamal, you can, if you'd like, go on and segue on to the wonderful announcements. Do you want to do them by yourself? Do you want me to do them? You want to do roundtable? What are you feeling like today?
That's up to y'all. I have no problem.
By yourself.
I am all good.
What you want to do, B?
I said I want him to do them by himself.
You're up, Jamal.
Here we go. All right, y'all. We always start off with the Altadena Community Center, which is serving as the survivor support location for those who are still, dealing with the first, initial stages of dealing with these fires and with their insurance company and SBA and all that stuff. They're located at 730 East Altadena Drive in Altadena. They have services from SBA, DCBA, Treasurer and Tax Collector, in addition to the Assessor's Office, and are open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you'd like a full list of who all is going to be there, because FEMA's no longer there. They stopped being there at the end of July, but can still be reached at disasterassistance.gov. But if you want a list of everybody who's physically going to be there, you can scan the QR code below. And then next, we actually have the One-Stop Permit Center, which we have located at 464 West Woodbury Road, Suite 210. They have walk-in hours Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30. And then they also have appointments that you can set up for rebuild consultations for yourself or a small group. Those are available Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays only from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. In addition, they're open for Saturdays from 8 a.m. to noon. You can also set up an appointment with Southern California Edison's Planner. They're available Mondays and Wednesdays from 8 a.m. to noon. To actually schedule the appointment, you go to recovery.lacounty.gov/rebuilding/one-stop-permit-centers. All right, and the waivers and refunds. So the county is waiving and refunding permit fees for homeowners rebuilding after the Eaton and Palisades fires. Basically, the homeowners who have already paid their fees will have the ability to have them refunded. Those who have not yet paid, they can have their fees waived. You do have to qualify, and to qualify, you just have to demonstrate that you both owned and lived in your property prior to the 7th of January. Now, the projects that are available, or rather eligible for the refund or waiver, are replacement single family homes that were destroyed by either fire. Also, accessory structures such as garages, pools, ADUs, etc., in addition to standalone ADUs for temporary occupancy during the rebuilding. Unfortunately, commercial properties, rentals, multifamilies, or temporary housing projects, or those properties not damaged by the fires, are not eligible for a refund or a fee waiver. Now, if you do want one of those, you do have to fill out a form. To get the form, you would scan the QR code, or you would actually go to recovery.lacounty.gov/fee waivers and refunds. And once you fill out the form, you can either walk it into the permit center directly, or you can submit it via email to recovery@planning.lacounty.gov. And you do only have to fill out one form because it covers all departments. So no need to submit multiple times nor to multiple agencies. Then we have the CalAssist Mortgage Fund. This is actually giving you up to 3 months of mortgage payment relief up to a max of $20,000. This is a fund that doesn't have to be repaid, and it is free to apply. If you qualify and actually get a grant or one of these grants, it'll be paid directly to your mortgage servicer, and you won't have to touch the money at all. And go ahead and apply, because these are only going to be sent out as long as funds are available. We don't have an idea of exactly how, if funds are running out, but go ahead and apply so you can actually potentially get this if you meet the eligibility requirements, which are having your primary residence destroyed or considered uninhabitable due to either of the fires or any other qualifying disaster from the 1st of January 2023 through the 8th of January 2025. You also have to have owned and occupied the home or a home with up to 4 units on the property, as well as meet the income combined limits of $140,700. When you do apply, please be prepared to provide utility bills, proof of income, mortgage statements, bank statements, as well as homeowners insurance or FEMA claims. Now, to actually apply, you would go to calassistmortgagefund.org. And if you need help, you can phone them at 800-501-0019, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. However, if you actually need in-person help, you can again go to the Altadena Community Center, which again is located at 730 East Altadena Drive. You can get the in-person help from the folks at Neighborhood Housing Services from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. They are closed on the weekends and holidays. And if you happen to be displaced and in near one of the Los Angeles locations, you can go to the One Stop Rebuilding Center at 1828 Sawtelle Boulevard in LA. So, as Chris Holden had indicated, there is an event, and Tony had mentioned this as well. We do have a couple flyers for his LA Fire Justice. So they're actually putting on, I believe it is the 7th episode, or what do they call it? Hold on one second. The workshop number 7, as part of the workshop series designed to provide a roadmap and answer everyone's questions about the rebuilding process. This one is actually going to be tonight. It's going to be discussing building smart. It's going to be located at the LA Fire Justice Office at 221 East Walnut Street, Suite 100. Opening remarks begin at 6:30. The guest speaker begins at 6:45, followed by Q&A at 7:30. And again, refreshments will be provided. Now, the Bob Lucas Memorial Library for this entire week, so all the way through Friday, is going to, they're encouraging folks to stop by so they can receive a backpack courtesy of GitHub. This is actually located at 2559 Lincoln Avenue in Altadena. This is on the corner of Figueroa and Altadena, the northwest corner. Open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And this is for children ages 6 to 12. and this is going to be while supplies last. The Altadena Rotary Social is actually happening tonight at the Good Neighbor Bar, located at 2311 Lincoln Avenue in Altadena. And this would be between the hours of 5 p.m. and 8 p.m., which is essentially closing time. So there will be a corner of the patio reserved for this event. So family, friends, and kids are all welcome. The Taco Casa truck is available, or you can bring your own food. One thing to note is all beverages, including non-alcoholic beverages, must be purchased on site. And there is table service from Good Neighbor Bar and West Altadena Wine and Beverage. So there is another air purifier distribution located at 2150 Glen Rose Avenue from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and that'll be tomorrow, August 20th. It's for the Altadena, Pasadena, Sierra Madre, and La Cañada residents only. And again, you must have ID or some sort of proof of your previous address. And so make sure you bring that. And thank you for these folks who are continually providing these air purifiers. And then again, tomorrow, Juicy Little Finds Thrift Store is presenting We Out Here Market. She's out there every Wednesday from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the world famous Fair Oaks Burgers, located at 2560 North Fair Oaks Avenue in Altadena. This is another event where you have to provide proof of your residency, so bring your ID. Some of the items that will be there are free farmers market, free vegan hot meals, free hygiene products and groceries, free love and prayers, legal advice, and much more. If you're interested in having more information, please reach out to juicylittle.org.
Juicy Little.
So community food distribution, again, if you're impacted by the fire, stop by the Altadena Library to pick up a bag of fresh produce, courtesy of the Hollywood Food Coalition. Supplies are limited, and it is a first come, first serve. This will be the fourth one that they've done, at least that we've been aware of, and the supplies do go very quickly. So if you're interested in checking this out, they are available tomorrow, August 20th from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the main library parking lot, which is 600 East Mariposa Street in Altadena. And they do ask, if you can, to please bring your own extra bags. Brian did say, we out here via text or via chat or comments. He wasn't in the office at the time. I was, I don't know if you heard me pausing. I was waiting
on it, right?
Yeah, you never know when it's coming.
Where I said, just a
little. We gotta have some sort of flavor to it. Yeah. So the Pasadena Parks and Recreation is providing the free summer concert and movies at the park. One of their favorite summer traditions returns: live music and movies under the stars in the local community park. So they say, grab a blanket, bring your friends, enjoy free concerts featuring amazing bands and artists from a variety of genres, plus outdoor movie nights, perfect for the whole family. Check the schedule, pick your favorite dates, and don't miss out on unforgettable evenings of music, movies, community, and fun. So this next one is going to be at Loma Alta Park, 3330 North Lincoln Avenue. And it will be this Thursday is going to be The Wild Robot is going to be the movie from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then this is on the Thursday the 21st. And then the following Thursday is going to actually be a concert where it's Susie Hansen's Latin Band. And that'll be from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. also at Loma Alta Park. If you have any questions, you can reach out to them at 626-206-9313. And this, again, should be a very nice event. Everything else they've had up there has been pretty nice. And the folks at Harambe at 1609 Navarro Avenue in Pasadena are providing Dena Summer Nights with games, food, vibes, art, and community. It is this Friday from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. So definitely go check that out. It should be a nice event. We also have the Altadena Revealed: Reflections of People and Places. So this is the fifth installment of the Altadena Architecture, a Legacy, and Elegy. The speaker is Tim Gregory. It'll be this Friday, the 22nd, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Altadena Main Library, 600 East Mariposa Street. Um, from 7 p.m. is when the doors open, and then from 7 to 8:30 is going to be the actual lecture. So it'd be a nice another event to check out. And then, as we mentioned earlier, this Saturday, April 23rd, from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., Chris Holden is putting on his 26th annual Community Resource Fair and Block Party. This is going to be at the 500 block of East Jackson Street in Pasadena. Support resilience for Altadena businesses and families. So bring the whole family to play games, listen to live music, pick up resources from local nonprofits and agencies, shop local businesses, and encourage each other as a community. As I've mentioned a few times, I'm familiar with this event. I think I may have gone only once, but I know a couple families on the same block as Chris, and they've been doing this for a long time and always have a good time. This one, I think they're stepping it up a level just because of what has transpired over this, the past 7 months, or, because of the fires and how people are dealing with things over the past 7 months to make it really special. And we will be there. Somebody from Altadena Talks is going to be there. It'll be really nice. And I believe this last one, Miracle City Ministries and partners present the Altadena Rebuilding Conference, which is going to be also Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's going to be located at 997 East Walnut Street in Pasadena, which is 2 blocks east of Lake Avenue. There's going to be several speakers, a whole list that are listed there, but like LA County Fire Department, the Building and Safety, Greenworks Construction. Pardon me?
And me. I was asked in a text if I could speak on Saturday at this. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what the subject is yet, but I was asked and just confirmed a little while ago.
Well, our very own Tony Bailey Rains from Altadena Talks will actually be presenting as well. So
there won't be a question mark next to her name.
No question. Her name.
And they did ask me
her name in there.
if I could give them the Army Corps Engineers info. So I'm going to shoot them that in a minute.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, that's a really, really good event. So for more information, if you have questions about it, you can actually contact the event coordinator at 626-989-2218, or you can email them at miraclecityministries@yahoo.com. And with that, I'm bringing us back. I cough.
We're back.
And yeah, another nice show. Like I said, Chris was really cool.
Yeah, he is. He's a great guy and great gentleman. And I'm thankful that he was able to come on today. And I really look forward to working with him or them in the future, however we can partner to get the information out to the community that the community needs. And thank you, Marcus Betts.
I'm gonna keep my hands off the thing because every time I click it, one of y'all click it too.
I was clicking it to put it on when I said thank you, Marcus Betts, and you were doing it, so it went off, went back on.
Same thing.
I don't even touch it anymore.
Go ahead, Jamal, you run it.
No, I'm good. No.
We out here.
Yeah, I was waiting, man. I slowed down and everything.
Well, that's why I put it in the comments because I wasn't in here.
No, I know, but you know what I do is when I do the presentations, I expand. I do full screen, so I can't see if you guys are on or not. So I couldn't tell if you were away. So that's why I just always.
That's all right. I was there in spirit.
Of course, I know you're always watching, even when you walk away. But hey, this is episode 155, guys. I know we always say the numbers and we only go one at a time, but it still seems, amazing that we had this many episodes providing what we feel is good information to the folks who tune in. We encourage everyone who does tune in, obviously, to continue to do so, but please spread the word. whether you watch it on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook. Just share it with one person that may not have been aware of it, because far too many times are we hearing that there are pockets of people within the community who knew nothing about deadlines or bits of information, obviously, that we like to share and believe we're providing info for, but we just want to make sure people have access to the info that they need.
And
Again,
tomorrow is Way Back Wednesday. I don't know what they're talking about. Oh, taking you way back in time. I will not be on the show tomorrow because I have to be at Elliott at 06:30 because I am serving with Team Rubicon tomorrow in Altadena as we clear debris, meaning
From
trees
Elliott?
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Nice. Who's
So I'll
beeping?
be in the community again doing that.
That's the trash truck downstairs.
Oh, it's you. Okay.
Right. I was going to put somebody on mute. I didn't know who, but no, it's all good. That's crazy because you're way up on the 6th floor. That's so loud. Although today's my trash day too, but they haven't come by. But yeah, so I will be in Altadena tomorrow. I got to be at Elliott at 6:30 in the a.m. I got to get my Team Rubicon shirt and hat and boots and all that out because we working. Now look, y'all, as prissy as I am, I got to wear gloves tomorrow. This here hair is going to have to be up in a ponytail or something because I am going to be out there working. I know it's going to be hot. I'll have all my water, but Team Rubicon has really been integral in being here since the beginning. And we get deployments that ask us, can we go serve? So I had logged in to do this new one and it was too late. And they said they were closed. But then Seth out of, I think he lives in Wisconsin or somewhere. But anyway, he does a lot of their drone work and filming. So he reached out to me and said, hey, Antoinette, are you going to be working at deployment? I'll be there next week. And I was like, I didn't log in. So he pulled strings. He was like, don't trip. I want you back out there. I need to film you again, because he did a whole kind of thing on me from the very first time I served. And I was over at Victory Park doing.
It was really nice too.
When we were giving sandbags. And then he followed me. We did one where I was a strike team lead up in Cheney Trail at some of those houses that burned down. And we had a huge strike team. So I was the lead and, giving direction and driving them around and stuff. And then they came back and did a whole hour or something of over my parents' lot in the house where they did drones and interviewed me about the impact.
Didn't we share that at one point?
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so tomorrow he wants me back out there to do some follow-up filming, I believe. But I enjoy when I get to go and serve in my own local community. And so now the service is we're using chainsaws to cut down some trees, shrubs. Oh yeah, we get it in. But we did.
It's gonna be the Altadena Chainsaw Stump Massacre. Like that one at the end. Swing.
Oh yeah, so I'll be out there doing that tomorrow. So I will not be on the show, but I'll be thinking of y'all. If by chance I can go live because they don't let people take pictures and stuff. But Seth, I already told him I'm going to bring my camera, my phone and see. And so I might be able to pop in here tomorrow from on site if I can, if I have service. Because, part Altadena does, part doesn't. So if I'm where there's service, I will try to pop in. And if not, who knows?
Righteous.
Sounds great.
I gotta text myself this link because I have the old link and I'll be in another one. So I'll text myself this one so that if it happens, I will. If I can.
You're such a
I'll always
nice
send it to
lady.
you if you need it.
So we are right at an hour and 3. We started right on time because we needed to, and we are ending. So thank you everyone who watched today. I hope you got a lot of really good insight and information from Chris Holden. Again, their informational meeting tonight is at, did he say 6 p.m.?
He said 6, but the flyer says 6:30.
Oh, 6:30.
Now,
Okay.
he does have a town hall, or no, he had a town hall, which was at 6
That was
p.m.
last
I think
week.
he may have mixed the dates up.
Okay, either way, there's an event tonight that they're going to have a rebuilding type summit type thing or whatever at 221 East Walnut. And so remember that if you need to get down there, go on and get down there and watch it. Otherwise, I will say what I always do, which is toodles. And thank you so much for watching today. I got to call Janet because she's supposed to be on Thursday from Fair Oaks Burgers to talk about the amazing goodness and what they've been doing. This dude.
My neck, man.
I see what he's gonna or what they're gonna be doing or continue to do in the community. So I will confirm with her again today or reconfirm. And then on Friday, Jamal is going to host Joe Bryant, a local Altadena Pasadenian and builder, and interview him on some things. And then on the weekend, we will be out there. But
I'm sure there'll be more in the announcements as well. Closer to the weekend we get.
And if you guys want to know what we've actually been doing when we out here, all you got to do is go to our site, np.altadenatalks.com, and we slap that up there if I still know where it's at. And you can go to the events, and you can see all the pictures of all the stuff that we go to so that you can see that we actually do stuff in the community.
And let us know what topics you might want to talk about for Way Back Wednesday. Shoot us some messages. I was saying, let us know what you might want to talk about for Way Back Wednesday. Or the Throwback Thursdays whenever we have them.
I'm Way Back Wednesday. Don't you see? I am.
Yeah, you are. Wednesday. You are. With that.
I'm way back to the 70s. Okay. And if I had my shades, which I don't. Oh, wait, hold on.
It must be in the
car. Now I'm gonna channel Easy Reader from the.
Do you remember the rap group, the Afros?
Mm-hmm.
I used to love that.
Yeah, I'm Stevie Wonder's younger cousin, Brian Wonder. Yeah, you wonder what I am, right? Yeah. Well, wonder no more. Anyway, we're happy to see y'all. Thank you for showing up for us every day that we're on. We couldn't do this without you. Well, actually, we could, but we just wouldn't have an audience.
It would, no meaning. It wouldn't work.
Yeah. Well, you know how they say with influencers, start with one video, then do 2, then do 10, then the people will come. And
build it and they will come.
Yes, I've been seeing the results, and it's been spectacular. I'm proud to be a part of this trilogy of terror. And advocacy for Altadena residents.
Mm-hmm.
See y'all.
Right. Peace. All right, have a fantastic day. Peace.
We out here.